what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh! Hey, Roy! What? Everyone, please be seated. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the 167th basic class. I'm Captain David Lee. I'm the Director of Training at the West Virginia State Police Academy, and I am honored to be your Master of Ceremonies today. I want to thank you for joining us to celebrate an occasion the members of the 167th will remember for a lifetime. They've now completed the first leg of their journey of becoming professional police officers, and as of today, they can call themselves graduates of the West Virginia State Police Academy. That's something that few undertake and even fewer can claim. So you should be very proud of them today. Their training doesn't end today, though. If anything, it's just beginning. Each day on the job brings new challenges and new opportunities to learn. Graduates, I challenge each of you to never stop learning about your chosen profession, whether it be through formal training or learning from the veteran officers that you have an opportunity to work with or around. Always strive to gain more knowledge about your chosen profession. I'd also like to be the first of many today to thank the families. Without your support, this 16-week journey that these graduates are now completing would have been overwhelming. Your love and support has been instrumental in their success, and your love and support is going to be very instrumental in their having a successful law enforcement career. A strong family support system is the backbone of a successful law enforcement officer. So for myself, the Academy, and the 167 families, I give you a heartfelt thank you. The next speaker that we're going to have come up today is a representative of the graduating class. This individual has the great honor of being chosen by his classmates to represent them today, to express their thoughts and views. The class speaker for the 167th basic class is Nathan Jeffries of the Hinton Police Department. Nathan was born and raised in Hinton, West Virginia. Nathan's a graduate of Bluefield State with an associate degree in criminal justice. Nathan and his wife Kelly have 3 children, Elena 9, Taylor 6, and Sadie 3 months. Please help me welcome the class speaker for the 167th basic class, Officer Nathan Jeffries.
First off, I'd like to apologize to anybody in the front that has a little bit of trouble seeing me. We were unable to find a step stool for me to family and friends, distinguished guests, Academy staff, fellow classmates. We are the survivors of Class 167. In June, 16 weeks seem like an eternity, but here we are. I keep feeling like at any moment I'm going to hear the Reveille trumpets and we're going to wake up in week 12, but that hasn't happened yet. When we look back, it's hard to believe that the only way we knew one another was by looking at a name tag. But now, we not only know each other by name, but as brothers and sisters. During week 1, First Sergeant Petrie told us to focus on the journey, not the destination. And in this journey, we've been through a lot together. We've learned a lot about each other, a lot about ourselves. We've learned that if you quit here, you will quit in the field. And I can honestly and proudly say, Class 167 does not quit. We survived the lengthy lectures on criminal law, accident and crime scene investigation. We studied the state traffic codes, laws of arrest, search and seizure. We survived the tests, the constant testing. We survived the heated firing range, and those were the hottest weeks of summer. We've learned many things during our 16 weeks. We've learned that the only thing worse than burpees are one-legged burpees. And if any of you doesn't know what that is, your officer would be proud to demonstrate it for you. We learned that grass doesn't always grow outside. At any given moment, we would walk in our barracks and behold, we had grass. We learned that not all hills in West Virginia are majestic. If an academy instructor ever says, let's go to the hill, I can assure you, you will not enjoy the view. We learned that storms can happen without a single cloud in the sky. They can actually happen indoors. In our barracks is where it always seemed to happen, but that's another thing they can explain to you later. Go Fish is not the worst game that you can play with a deck of cards. The floors at the Professional Development Center can glow in the dark if you wax them and buff them long enough. And if you see class instructors with leaf blowers on their backs, I promise you, they are not doing any type of landscaping. We are the class that can prove painting the exterior of the PDC, which is the Professional Development Center, in 30 minutes after running a quarter-mile relay with a 5-gallon bucket of paint is possible. Last but not least, one of the many lessons that we have learned is that stand by is the scariest phrase we've ever heard. But on a more serious note, the most important memories we have are the personal experiences related to us by our instructor. One message that came through loud and clear in all the war stories and the instruction we received is that the job of a law enforcement officer has changed in the last 20 years. Today's law enforcement officers have to be sharper, better trained to handle the more complex requirements of the courts and the public. Our class instructors have trained and prepared us to the very best of their abilities to be able to meet those requirements. The last 16 weeks have prepared us for those situations. But we cannot pretend to even think that we've learned all that we need to know, but everyone has to start somewhere. We have been trained to deal with people and how to handle many situations. We have practiced what we've learned many times, because in the field you only have one chance to do it right. When those times happen, and we do them right, we will be able to look back and realize that all of our training, studying, and testing really did pay off. This graduation is the crowning moment of weeks of hard work. We are proud of our accomplishments, and we'd like to thank everyone coming to share this special occasion with us. We have a lot of people that deserve our thanks. On behalf of Class 167, we'd like to thank the Academy staff for all their hard work, our instructors for their dedicated efforts in making our training the best in the country. And a special thanks to First Sergeant Petrie for all the physical and ethical training and for serving us many slices of humble pie. Thank you to our individual chiefs, sheriffs, and supervisors for your support. However, the most important thanks goes out to our families for standing by our side for the last 16 weeks. None of this would have been possible without you. And finally, to my classmates, I send out my personal thanks for the honor of representing Class 167 and allowing me to share some of the many memories and lessons that will stay with us for a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Jeffries. At this time, there are a few special awards that we would like to present to members of the graduating class. The first award to be presented is the Valedictorian Award. This award is going to be presented by Sheriff Steve Tanner, Sheriff of Raleigh County, representing the West Virginia Sheriff's Association.
.167 Basic. Graduates of the West Virginia State Police Academy. Captain Lee left a few things out you should be aware of. The West Virginia State Police Academy is one of the most respected academies in the United States of America and is one of the most highly rated academies in America. Your credentials that you leave with today are respected all over the United States, and your training from this academy has given you the best training that is available. You should be extremely proud. They set the very highest standards for you to achieve. You have achieved those standards and you have been given those tools necessary to have a long and productive professional career. I hope that, as Captain Lee told you, you will continue to train and improve every day, and that you will do everything in your power to be the best that you can be to better our communities and keep our families safe. In regards to the award for valedictorian, the award for valedictorian goes to the student who has performed at a superior level in their academic studies during their 16-week training at the State Police Academy. That student graduates today with the highest grade point average in their class, having maintained academic excellence in every course of instruction. This instruction includes over 823 hours of intense studies in courses designed to prepare the basic student for a career in law enforcement. The 167th basic class overall class grade point average is 94.794. The valedictorian graduate today has a GPA of 97.750. The valedictorian for the 167th basic class is Deputy Cal Allman of the Marshall County Sheriff's Office. Congratulations to him for outstanding.
Our next award is the Carl Koer Outstanding Officer Award. This award is going to be presented by Chief William Roper, representing the West Virginia Chiefs of Police Association.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen of the newly graduating class here at the West Virginia State Police Academy, thank you for your hard endeavors that you just went through. Family members, we cannot ever forget the members that stand behind these men and women. You are the reason why they chose this profession. You're the reason why they put themselves in harm's way. They know in their hearts that they are out there to serve themselves, you, their community, and their passion. you need to congratulate yourselves by standing behind these men and women. In today's world, in law enforcement has changed dramatically since I began. Without support from my family, I don't know how long I would have stayed in it. But with their great support and the support from each one of you, I see long endeavors for each one of these men and women. Guys, always remember, be true to yourself, be true to your family, be true to your department, and then your community. Never forget the reason why you raised your hand and took an oath. Always remember the dangers out there, because there are so many. Times have changed. Use your common sense and what you've been taught here at the Academy and along with personnel from your departments. With that being said, it's an honor to present this award, the Carl Kogel Award. I remember Carl as a young police chief, and he stands for all the standards that this award goes for. This outstanding award goes to the student who constantly upholds the highest standards, adheres to the Academy core values, and becomes a role model for their classmates. The outstanding officer is a leader and one who makes sacrifices for the good of his class. The outstanding officer for the 167th Basic Class is Officer Clifton Gum of the Princeton Police Department. Congratulations to Officer Gum. He graduates today as the best in his class.
The next award we have is the First Sergeant Joe Pitara Perseverance Award. This award is going to be presented by First Sergeant Rob Perry, Deputy Director of Training at the West Virginia State Police Academy.
I don't have any long speeches. Trust me, they've had enough speeches for me the past 16 weeks. I do want to say one thing to the families though, and actually to the class. I'm extremely proud of you, and to put a little bit of your fears at ease to the families, there's not one officer that stands before you here today that I would not go through a door with. I've seen their performance, and I'm extremely proud of them. The First Sergeant Joseph G. Pitara Perseverance Award is to recognize that student who showed dedication, determination, and has applied the best of himself to the task at hand. The recipient of this award has demonstrated diligence, has overcome adversity, and proven his desire not to quit. During the 16-week training, he has overcome obstacles to succeed and to set positive examples to the rest of his class. This award is determined by the input of the class and from that of the Academy staff. The First Sergeant Joseph G. Pitara Perseverance Award for the 167th Basic Class goes to Officer Bradley Williams of the Flatwood Police Department.
The last plaque I want to present is not one that's given with every class, just when their performance reaches this standard. We give a PT test at the beginning of each class and at the end of each class, and they have to meet the standard to both get into the academy and also to leave the academy. The 1.5 mile run, back when I was a young staff officer in 2001, it was set at 8 minutes and 4 seconds for 1.5 miles, which is a pretty good time. A couple classes ago, that record was broken. I think it was 7 minutes and 57 seconds, and we thought, wow, that record's going to stand for quite a while. It stood for a couple classes. And, a young man in this class set the new 1.5 mile run record at 7 minutes and 32 seconds.
Wow.
He didn't just beat it, he demolished that record. So we want to recognize his performance. Officer Forrest Reed of the Wayne Police Department. Please come forward. I'm now honored to introduce to you today the keynote speaker for our ceremony, Chief Robert Matheny, Chief of Police for Stonewood Police Department. Robert Matheny is currently the Chief of Police for the City of Stonewood and previously was Chief of Police for the City of Wheeling. However, the majority of his law enforcement career, which has spanned 31 years, was spent with Clarksburg Police Department, where he retired at the rank of lieutenant. He served in many capacities during his time with Clarksburg, including community relations, chief of detectives, SWAT commander. He is a 1987 graduate of the West Virginia State Police Academy in the 63rd basic class, and a 2008 graduate of the FBI National Academy in the 234th session. He's received hundreds of hours of training during his career in different fields of effort. Emphasis to include violent crime, homicide investigation. In recent years, he's focused his training toward labor law and constitutional law as it pertains to law enforcement. He's a certified police officer, firefighter, scuba diver, and SWAT officer. He's also a training instructor in many areas of expertise. Robert believes that his duty to serve is an absolute most important purpose in his life, and strives to serve his faith, his family, and his community with all that is in him. Please help me welcome Chief Matheny.
Good morning. Thank you, Captain. Let me start by saying that I'm very honored. There's nowhere else I'd rather be this morning than to be here with you. I want to thank the members of the graduating class, the 167th, as well as the Academy staff for inviting me to be a part of this very important day. As I was traveling here, I was trying to decide, should I speak half hour, an hour, maybe 90 minutes. But you know, as I thought back, I can't remember who spoke at my graduating class, so I thought, it really doesn't matter. So I spoke to Captain Lee and I said, well, I'll probably keep it at about 60 minutes. And he said, 10 minutes. And I said, yes, sir. So I'm going to throw out just a few of my thoughts. And it's very nice that they provided for you your speech in the notebook, but the font's kind of small. So I brought my own, and it's blown up quite a bit because the last time well, not the last time I was on this stage, but when I walked across this stage 30 years ago, my eyesight was a lot better. So again, I want to thank the 167th for having me here. I want to thank my brothers and sisters in law enforcement. I see a lot of the law enforcement leadership from throughout the state here in attendance today to support the officers that will be coming to work and representing their agencies and their communities. I also want to recognize the families that support the officers that are graduating today. As you've heard, and you'll hear me speak more about that, it's so important that we have family support and that people love and care about us to help us through these trying times. And also friends. Friends are important, and graduating class, you'll see as you move on, you are who you run with. And you'll see that you have some friends that will run away from you, and some friends will run close to you. And choose your friends wisely and those that you are around and about. And you'll see how important that is as your career goes on. The West Virginia State Police Academy is a tradition, or it's become a tradition in my family. As the captain told you, I graduated in the 63rd basic class. My son, Rob, who is here today, is a graduate of the 143rd basic class. And now today, my son Joseph graduates with the 167th basic class. We're very proud of that. Through my career in law enforcement, I've had the honor to travel throughout the country and train and be trained. I've attended the FBI National Academy, as was in my bio. I've taken classes at the DEA Academy, Massachusetts State Police Academy. I've taught at the Connecticut State Police Academy, LAPD Academy, NYPD Academy. And I can truly sit here and tell you today, there's none other like the West Virginia State Police Academy. And that says a lot. And there's no officers like West Virginia trained officers. And I'd say that from my heart, and I say that looking you right in the eye, because when I speak the truth. So congratulations, you've come through 16 weeks of good, solid training that you will refer back to many times over your career. I hope that you have a career as great and as long as I've had. I'm 31 years in, and I hope to be here for another 10 years at least. Every morning when I go out and I get my cruiser and I radio in service, I'm happy to go to work, and a lot of careers people can't say that. Now we have good days and we have bad days, and that's with any profession. And you're going to have good times and you're going to have bad times. But I believe, and my prayer for you, that most of your times are good times and on the high road. One of the things in my 10 minutes that I have to speak, Captain, that I want to get across to you, I want you to have a forethought to go home at night after your shift. You work a hard shift, some of you work 12-hour shifts, some 10-hour shifts, sometimes you're pulled double shift. But your goal needs to be, I'm going home. I'm going home to my family, I'm going home to my friends. I'm going to stay alive. And I know that you have received wonderful tactical training, and if you take to heart what you were taught here over the last 16 weeks, you'll know how to stay alive. And that is the most important thing that you should be thinking of when you go out here on the streets. This is probably the worst that I've seen our society in 31 years I've been policing our state. We have a terrible drug epidemic. We have more violence. We have people that just don't care about life. And a lot of people don't care about the lives of police officers. So I want you to be very careful. When you're home, it's important to be home. I know that you'll have a lot of stressors. You'll be worried about cases. You'll be worried about court. But when you're home, you have to devote your home and your life at home to your family and your friends. It's very important. We have a very high divorce rate in our profession. We have a very high suicide rate. Families, when your officers are at home, take care of your officers. It's very important that you take care of not only their physical health, but their mental health, their emotional health. You know, there'll be days that they don't want to talk about things that happen at work. Let them get by with that. There'll be times they need to talk to you about what happened at work. Let them get by with that. There'll be times that they want your advice, and there'll be times that they don't want your advice. It's a very tough profession, but it's equally as tough on the family. Let me just tell you a quick story. I was at a training in Georgia, and a friend of mine is a captain with the Georgia State Police. And we were talking about emotional well-being, and he started crying. This is a big fella, big captain, tough guy. He broke down and he started crying. I said, "What's up?" And he told me a story that how this class that we were taking hit home to him, because not long before, he was in charge of an investigation. Young individual, I think 10 or 11 years old, was murdered in his jurisdiction, and he was in charge of the investigation. had very little leads, very little to go on. The chief was on him, the press was on him. Wasn't getting anywhere with the case, chasing down dead leads. And you'll see someday, if you don't have a cruiser that you take home, probably someday in your career you will. And what you'll find is, you have a parking place for that cruiser, and it becomes your parking spot. My boys can tell you, my wife can tell you, I have a parking spot for my cruiser. And when they take my spot, I get mad, because it's a spot to where if I'm called out, I can get out fast. Nobody's blocking me in, I don't have to move 2 vehicles to get out, and you can understand that. Well, as this captain rolls home from work one evening after a terrible day, there's a tricycle in his spot. Well, he gets out of his cruiser, and the tricycle belongs to his 5-year-old daughter, and he takes the tricycle, and as I told you, he's a big man, and he throws that tricycle across the yard, bangs it up, gets back in his cruiser and parks it in his parking spot. And as he walks through the yard, he's confronted face to face by his 5-year-old daughter. And she's in tears, and she said, "Daddy, why did you do that to my tricycle?" And as he looks down at her with her tears, she says, "Because I want to be like you, Daddy." You can imagine how much trouble he was in with Mama when he made it to the door. But I tell you that because I want you to know that eyes are on us. The eyes of our children, the eyes of our families, the eyes of our friends. Not much we can do about the people that don't like us, that are out putting stuff on social media and watching us just to make a mistake. But there's a lot we can do about the people that love us and care about us. And the good people of our communities, because most people in our communities that we serve are good people. Their eyes are on us too. So we have to act appropriately. We're held to a higher standard, and we have to keep that standard. Because what you do reflects on me, and what I do reflects on you. We have to keep that in mind, and we have to serve our communities, and we have to serve them well. When I retired from the city of Clarksburg, I went to Wheeling and took over as police chief. And at that time, they were just switching over from the pepper spray to tasers. And I knew at some point I was going to have to be tased in order to carry a taser. And if your department issues tasers, you're probably going to have to be tased. And as a chief of police, you get a lot of junk mail. And a piece of junk mail came in and it says, "Don't be tased." And I thought, I'm going to use this to my advantage at some point. So I put it on my desk and it got covered up with paper. Well, it came time for taser training. And I was told by the training officer when we report for my training. And I thought, I need to look at that piece of paper. So I dug down and I got the piece of paper and I thought, this is my ticket out. Well, what I learned is they weren't talking about a taser at all. And I wrote this down because I thought it was worth repeating. And usually when I get around a group of police officers, I like to repeat it. So what I'm going to ask you is, don't